Hello everyone and welcome to another NBA preview. I am the analyst at the Analyst32 on Twitter. If you guys want to follow, also the Analyst32 here on YouTube. So, we're here for another NBA preview. Today, we're going over the one, the only, the most liked, the most disappointing New York Knicks. So I guess there's only one of them. But anyway, this squad, they have talent. I think I've said that about every team, and I probably will eventually say that about every team. But they've added some pieces for this season. It's better than last year. That's not saying a lot whatsoever. But they have some pieces. It's all about who will stay healthy and who will be the leader of the group to keep these guys playing well, etc. Their coach, obviously, the one and only former Laker great, Derek Fisher, really stepping in as a guy who's trying to enforce the triangle offense for Phil Jackson, who's currently running the team as GM. It didn't work out too well last year, to say the least. Granted, they really had Melo hurt. They had Jose Calderon hurt. They traded away Amari Stoudemire to the Dallas Mavericks. All these guys that you would have expected to be cornerstones still of the New York Knicks for the immediate future were in fact traded away or injured. So, let's look at the roster for this particular year. So up here, this way, here we go. So, the one, I have Jose Calderon starting for him. Will he stay healthy? That's really the ultimate question. I mean, he's, in his limited time, he was averaging almost 10 points a game, 4.7 assists. He can easily be one of the best creators in terms of assists-wise in the NBA. But on the same aspect, he's getting old. He's been injured a lot recently. I think, honestly, there's a reason why teams such as Dallas and Toronto just moved on from him and moved in a different direction with the likes of Kyle Lowry, or heck, even Jameer Nelson, as sadly as it may seem to say that. But anyway, at the two, we have former guy traded to Portland last year, Aaron Aflalo. He really didn't fit in with the system over in Portland as well as one might have hoped after the injury to Wesley Matthews. A guy you could really expect to be, he's been known to be a decent three-point shooter and scorer. The problem is he's not at least in Portland's system, he was not a guy who could just pick up the ball and shoot it like Wesley Matthews was. He always had to take a dribble or two to try to get the guy off of him and get comfortable into his shot, which just did not fit the Portland system. It might fit the triangle with what the Knicks want to do this year. It was not a terrible pickup. Granted, with the free agents they were going after, it was not exactly, it wasn't their first option. We'll put it that way. But he still has the potential to be a 15-point scorer, even an 18 points per game scorer in this league. So, moving on to the three, as much as we've seen him playing the four this past year, and in previous seasons, even with injury, Carmelo Anthony. The guy last year in his 40 or so games that he played, before the it's not the international break, before the All-Star break. Gosh, I've been watching a lot of soccer. Anyway, before the All-Star break, was a guy who was averaging, almost 25 points a game, almost 7 rebounds a game, still was throwing out 3 assists a game, as crazy it was with how many shots he was throwing up. And on top of that, and especially with the teammates he had around him, On top of that, he was averaging over a steal a game, which was probably the most surprising stat when I went back and looked at this. We kind of noticed last year Carmelo was more of a defensive player than he had been in previous years. I mean, he has the size, he has the capability. You weren't expecting to see that from a guy at the power forward position and having to guard some of the bigger power forwards in the league. However, this has also been a turbulent time in the NBA trying to figure out what exactly is a power forward and what exactly is the 4 spot. As the great Jalen Rose has said, positions were created in basketball so that way a novice can follow the game. I don't completely agree with that, but we're seeing a specific groundbreaking push in the NBA with how everybody's been playing. Started with the Phoenix Suns early, went on to obviously the San Antonio Spurs, who were impressed by the way Phoenix played in the playoffs and decided to incorporate some of that for themselves. And of course, as you saw this past year, Golden State Warriors winning the NBA title with a system much similar to what everybody else does, but with a greater shooter in Steph Curry and, of course, Klay Thompson. So anyway, moving on from that, Melo played, for the limited time he was in, played really well. At the 4 this year, I have Derek Williams, former Arizona standout Derek Williams. He's one of those guys who has the physical tools, has been stuck in situations such as Minnesota, such as Sacramento. Honestly, I thought he'd do better at Sacramento than he ended up doing. Turned out not to be the case. Will he be a guy that finally breaks out to a 12, 13 points a game scorer and more of an effective player on defense that we'll have to wait and see? Derek Williams, though, if there was a guy to break out on this team who wasn't named Carmelo Anthony and Kristaps Porzingas, which we'll get to him here in just a moment, it would be Derek Williams. Anyways, moving on to the 5, we have the one, the only, the sideshow Bob of the NBA, and official mascot hater. Will punch a mascot in the face like none other. Robin Lopez. Robin Lopez, one of my favorite centers in the league. You know, the guy who does all the dirty work, does not care if he gets the ball, will go out there, rebound the ball for you, score when he's asked to, plays really solid defense and really frees things up for whoever's playing the 4 normally. And at least it worked really well for LaMarcus Aldridge the past couple of years. In the new salary cap era, Rolo's getting a certain amount of money, but it's going to be weird. I don't know if he's totally worth that, even what he got, but he's still a great personality, and he will be a welcome addition to the New York Knicks. At number 6, their number 1 pick, and my first guy off the bench for the Knicks this season will eventually probably take over the starting 4 spot, Kristaps Porzingas. I am probably saying his name wrong, but I could care less at the moment. Big man, lots of skill, lots of post moves, can take it out to the 3-point line and shoot it well. Or at least we saw that in the little bits of international play we have gotten to see him be a part of. Look for him to really step up, hopefully by about mid-season, and kind of get into the flow of what the NBA is and be a 15 to 20 point scorer, kind of like Carmelo, but that all depends on if the ball ever gets to him and out of Carmelo's hands. Also on the bench, a couple of other guys kind of going for an 8-deep feel once again. Langston Galloway, returning from last year, averaged 11.8 points per game, 3.3 assists. Good to see him coming back for the Knicks. Just another guy in the locker room who's been there before and wants to change things, hopefully. And then coming over from the Washington Wizards, they signed Kevin Seraphin, guy that a lot of Wizards fans kind of got frustrated with at times, but he's a big body who can really rebound. Anyway, some things I wanted to go over. This roster 10 years ago would have made the playoffs pretty easily. I don't believe that's the case this year, even though they still play in the East. the other question, who will last the season for the Knicks? The Knicks have one of the most injured rosters in terms of past injury history that I've seen. With the likes of Jose Calderon, Aflalo's had his injury problems, Melo had his injury problems, Derek Williams has had some injury problems. So will they stay healthy? They have the potential, because they're in the East, to get a steal for the 8th seed. Will it happen? I do not think so. My expectation and prediction for the New York Knicks this season, 33 wins, 49 losses. Expect them to be near the bottom and looking to try to get a lottery pick once again. I believe their pick is protected for top 3, so if they manage to get that pick, hopefully they'll add some more strength to their side, and we'll see how that goes in the coming years. However, the New York Knicks, don't expect them to make the playoffs, but they will be a more fun team to watch this year, and hopefully that'll make Knicks fans a little bit happier. Anyway, thank you for watching. I am the Analyst32. Once again, you can follow me on Twitter at the Analyst32. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next NBA preview video. Thank you for watching once again.